What's the most expensive thing that has ever existed? Not the most expensive car, not the most expensive house, the single most expensive thing, period, in the history of everything. Go ahead, guess. Wrong. Everyone's wrong. Let's fix that. We're climbing a ladder today. Small to that number shouldn't be legal. Start easy. The biggest, clearest diamond ever pulled from the earth sold for about $2 billion. $2 billion for a rock. A rock that chemically is the exact same stuff as the tip of a pencil. Somewhere a first grader is doing long division with a more expensive material than most people's houses. In the 1500s, a painter took a random side job, paint some guy's wife. Nothing fancy. That nothing fancy painting is now worth roughly $1 billion. $1 billion of oil paint on 500-year-old wood behind bulletproof glass, guarded 24/7. It's got better security than most banks, and it's just a picture of a lady who never even asked to be famous. Quick question, what's the most expensive land ever sold? If you said a mansion, close, but no. A single city block, one, sold for around $3 billion. For comparison, the US once bought land the size of 13 states for about 4 cents an acre. One parking lot today costs more than a chunk of land bigger than most countries did 2 centuries ago. Location, absolutely unhinged location. Speaking of unhinged, houses. One private home is valued past $4.5 billion. Multiple helipads, a private movie theater, hundreds of staff, for one family. Meanwhile, the rest of us are financing a house with one bathroom, a mortgage that outlives the marriage, and a guest room that's just where the treadmill goes to be ignored. Nations have built things costing hundreds of billions. Highways, entire cities built from scratch in the middle of a desert. Space stations assembled piece by piece hundreds of miles above your head. But here's the uncomfortable part. The most expensive things humanity has ever built weren't cities or space stations. They were wars. One 20th century war alone cost roughly $25 trillion in today's money. And that number doesn't even include the cost nobody can actually put a price on. Okay, forget Earth completely because this is where it gets stupid. There's a substance that might be the single most expensive material physics allows to exist. Antimatter, the exact opposite of regular matter. The moment it touches anything normal, it doesn't explode. It completely erases itself, converting entirely into pure energy. 1 gram, about the weight of a paperclip, could release more energy than several nuclear bombs combined. So naturally, humanity has made almost none of it ever. NASA estimates a single gram would cost over $60 trillion to produce. That's more money than every billionaire on Earth combined, for an amount of material too small to actually see. So what's really the most expensive thing that's ever existed? Not the diamond, not the painting, not the mansion, not even the wars. It's a substance smaller than a grain of salt that we've barely figured out how to make, and that destroys itself the second it touches anything else. Everything we call priceless, the art, the gemstones, the palaces, none of it is actually the ceiling. The real ceiling is something we haven't even learned to hold on to yet. If that messed with how you think about value, subscribe. We've got more of these coming. Thanks for watching.